Hey guys, now that you know how to use for loops, let's see how you can iterate through an array using a for loop. You already saw how you can iterate through an array using a while loop, but this time, let's do the same thing but with a for loop. So, I have created this array of integers called even nums over here that stores some even integers. So, I want to create a for loop that prints out each item in the array even nums. Let's see how we can do this. So, this is the syntax to use for a for loop in C++. Now, in statement 1, I want to declare and initialize a variable. I want this variable to hold the current index value of the item in the array that I want to print out. So, I will create an integer variable called index and initialize it to 0. So, I know that I want to keep printing out the item at the index value of the variable index until I reach the end of the array. When I reach the end of the array, I want to stop printing out items, as there are no items left to print. So, when I reach the end of the array, the index will be equal to 7. Because 7 is the number of items that is in this array. So, I know that when the index becomes equal to the size of the array, I want this loop to terminate. Now, since statement 2 is where I'm supposed to write the condition at which the loop terminates, I will write index is less than 7 over here, like this. Now, as long as index is less than the size of the even nums array, which is 7, the code block will execute. And once it becomes the size of the array, it will terminate. Now let's move on to statement 3. I know that I want the value of the index to keep increasing by 1 every time after the code block gets executed. Because first I want to print the item at index value 0, then at index value 1, then at index value 2, and so on. So, I will write index plus plus in place of statement 3. Like this. This code will make sure that index increases by 1 each time after the code block is executed. Great. Now inside the code block, I want to write code that prints out the item in the array that is at the index value of the integer variable index. So, to do this, I will type cout even nums open square brackets, index, and then NL. There! Now we have written a loop that will print out all the items in the array even nums on a separate line. So, when I run the code, as expected, it prints out all the values in even nums on a separate line. So this is how you can use for loops to iterate through an array in C++.